American dream. To his last breath, he'll always be a soldier.
Heard on great radio stations all across America. It's the National Defense with Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry.
The National Defense is made possible by Ford. Go further. By the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. By VSP. For more information on how VSP can help you in your corrective vision needs, visit VSP.com. By Morgan Stanley. Discover how they can help you achieve your long-term financial goals at morganstanley.com. By the Wounded Warrior Project, serving those who've sacrificed for over 15 years. Online at woundedwarriorproject.org. By WD-40 Company. Wherever there's a job to be done, WD-40 brand offers solutions to help you live life hands-on. By Farmers Insurance. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com. By Gorilla Glue, makers of Gorilla Tape for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. And by Gillette On Demand. Get Gillette quality blades delivered directly to your door with Gillette On Demand. Learn more at GilletteOnDemand.com.
Hey, welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, Jerry Newberry, and Jerry, as always, our dedication.
Hey, this show's for you. The men and women serving in our military is for the millions of veterans out there, and it's for all their families. We're here for you. We love you. God bless you.
And we are, yes, we are still in San Diego.
I think I'm moving here.
Well, I bought a house yesterday. Farmers Insurance opened. The Farmers people have been so great, and we got their Chief Marketing Officer, Mike Linton, here. Mike, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I want to start with the fact that, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, because there are other insurance companies that kind of lay claim to military and veterans. But Farmers was started by two military people, right?
That's true. Quite a long time ago. But and we are very into the military. We recruit a lot for our agents from military. We are doing blessings in a backpack, actually, right upstairs right now, which will go to the Doris Miller School. That is a military school, and then we're going to the Armed Services YMCA actually tomorrow morning to distribute food to military folks. So. We have a great pipeline with the military, and we really have found it's a fabulous way for us to give back, and we get a lot from the military as well.
So Farmers really does a great job reaching out to the communities, first responders. Yep. I mean, this event is special in that way, isn't it?
It's true. We like to say it's more than about golf, and it is a lot about golf, and don't get me wrong, we love this tournament, and it's really fun. But we also use this as a big charitable week for the company. And we are doing a lot of stuff this year around disaster preparedness, disaster response, and then disaster recovery. And I have Nick Schuler here with me, who is a first responder, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But this week, almost all of our work is about disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. And we have a lot going on disaster response.
That's really cool to take this opportunity for a big tournament like this to focus on that. And Nick, what is your position here in the fire community?
So my name is Nick Schuler, and I'm a deputy chief for CAL FIRE here in San Diego County.
And so what does it mean to you guys to have a company like Farmers and an event like this to put that kind of spotlight and thrust behind you guys?
Well, it's for Farmers Insurance to support 500 first responders, police, fire from throughout Southern California is very special. But also these are people we work with day in, day out. We see them on disasters. We work together, and I think it's a great opportunity to continue building relationships with all of our partners.
And first responders really had their hands full here in California recently.
Man.
Yeah, this year we've had the deadliest wildfire in California's history, the most destructive wildfire in California's history, and the structure that has, or the fire that has burned more structures than anywhere else in California's history. So it's been a devastating year. Recovery still continues. There's a lot of people out there that have suffered significant losses, but we're really working to prepare ourselves. And really, if they've not, living in California, if you've not been affected by a wildfire, you will be at some point in your life.
And if it wasn't for the superhuman efforts of first responders, would be the numbers would be a lot worse than they are now.
Well, what we've seen this year, every year firefighters say it can't get worse than what we've seen, and unfortunately it continues to get worse. So it's important to have good coordination between fire and law enforcement, and also our partners, not only from the insurance companies, but from all other aspects of public service.
And just to kind of underscore what, Farmers gets in there and does, it's not just words. We talked to the Gilberts.
Great story.
Oh, my gosh. We talked to them yesterday, and, after their disaster in Houston, Farmers comes in and not only comes in and makes everybody feel good, but pitched in. I mean, the volunteers, the Farmers, employees, everybody pitched in, and then Ricky Fowler, the pro golfer, came in. What a great story that was.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. We so the disaster recovery is it takes a long time, and we have our mobile claims bus. We have a lot of work that goes on there, and we're very proud of that work. We also know that it's a long time for a community to rebuild, and so we spend a lot of time, and Farmers volunteers go out and have built houses in Joplin and now in Houston, and also in New Jersey, but now in Houston. And at Houston, Ricky Fowler, who is our brand ambassador, we root hard for Ricky, was building a house and met the Gilberts, and the 6-year-old has a heart condition, and they bonded, and they are out here now because we know that recovery isn't just physical recovery, it's also emotional recovery, and it takes a while for all that to get done, and we like to think we can contribute a little bit.
I mean, the 6-year-old is Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, he's got the gear on, he's got the
I don't know if you happened to be at yesterday the kids clinic, and that was just outrageously fun.
That was great. That was incredible. Hey,
well, excuse me. Good thing about that story, another good thing about that story, is Farmers didn't ask if they were policyholders.
Right.
They were people in need, and you helped them.
Yeah. Well, when we look at disaster recovery, it's so intense. And it takes so long. We think it's crazy to get that specific on things like that. And also, I will say we're a California company. We have thousands of employees and agents in the state. So this year was particularly intense for us on a number of fronts. And so we're very thankful to the first responders and a lot of folks that also helped us out.
Well, now, Nick, another thing going on at the Farmers Insurance Open today is the fact that is it on 14 where the birdies are, or what hole is that? 14. And for every birdie during the tournament, the first responders get $1,000.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for that money to go to a really good cause, and again, to have a Farmers Insurance partner with the fire community and the police department is really special. A lot of the folks that have been affected by these fires are also first responders, and so having an opportunity to get support is a great thing.
That's the thing I always think about, during any kind of a disaster like that. I mean, the folks that are helping out, they've got families, they've got homes, and they're going through the same kind of tough times. I mean, you guys have to kind of rise above that and kind of, put others first, right?
Yeah, in the Paradise Fire in Northern California, or what they call the Camp Fire, there were several firefighters as they were protecting other homes. Their houses were actually burning down in the process as their families were fleeing. So the stories are not unique just to residents, but they're also the same for firefighters and I'm sure other organizations who have people who live in that community.
Yeah, first responders are heroes, and not always appreciated the way they should be, but you all run towards danger instead of away from it, and magnificent.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate the kind words, and I think that we're very lucky to be honored in this situation, and we appreciate everything that the military does for us to protect us on our home front. So thank you.
Hey, Mike, talk about Blessings in a Backpack that you guys did this morning. Is it the Doris Miller School?
Miller. Yeah, we do Blessings in a Backpack pretty much. I've been here 7 years. We've done Blessings in a Backpack all those 7 years, and that is a lot of kids need some extra food, particularly over the weekends. And what we do is we stuff backpacks here, and we take it to the Doris Miller School, and we give it to those kids to take home to make sure that they have food over the weekend. And that food, it's very important for the kids' development as well as, their ability to be good at school.
Well, and the Doris Miller School is 90%.
It's a very heavy military-based school.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it is almost all military.
Wow.
And we've been doing that for a number of years. And then the Armed Services YMCA we give food to families as well. That will take place tomorrow. So we pretty much have charity set up almost every single day here, and a lot is it's all disaster.
I mean, the golf tournament's almost like secondary. I mean, everything you got, everything that you guys are doing, it's pretty amazing.
And how great is it that we're here to see some of this stuff?
Yeah. I know you guys are in from Kansas City,
right.
And coming from Ohio,
we're just happy to be anywhere.
I can say it's a great time to be in Southern California.
Although it's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, we're experiencing a winter weather freeze right now. I think it's 70 degrees.
It's tough.
This is tough. This is horrible. This is horrible.
Nick's wearing 3 jackets.
Hey, Mike, just to kind of wrap up what you have been doing at Farmers, man, what an unbelievable marketing effort that you guys have had, and just the ad campaign, the digital campaign. I mean, just really kind of reaching out on all fronts and turning this gigantic and legendary company, and very organically. What the thing I love about it is that all of those stories that you hear about the claims, they're true, and those come from internal, right?
Yeah. First, thank you for the kind words about our marketing program. We're proud of it. We always have work to do. I think one of the cool things about that program is those ideas are crowdsourced from our claims team and our agents. And systemically, about every 9 months, we will ask for ideas, and we will get about 200 ideas, and we will distill those down over that 9-month period to about 4 or 5 that we will shoot.
That's cool.
And
That's
we do take a little liberty with the ideas that come in, but they're all based on true settled claims and crowdsourced from our own employees and agents. And a shout out to the claims team and our agents for all that.
The thing cool. is, I watch those and I identify with a lot of them. I go, that's me.
That happened to me.
That's great. So, that's what we hope the reaction is, and we're really pleased you like the campaign. It's really good work for our teams and our agencies, our PA and Zenith. So thank you.
How's your golf game?
I am not a very good golfer. I do not play in the Pro-Am, though, and because once a long time ago I was playing and hit 2 people I was playing with. And
there's a claim.
I do not, and there's innocent bystanders in this. So no, right. My golf game is nothing to speak of.
Randy and I used to play golf together, and he doesn't let me play with him anymore.
Yeah, it's a danger. There's a danger.
I'm a dangerous golfer.
Thank you guys for the time, and thank you guys for what you're doing, and thanks for having us here. This is a fabulous time, and there's nothing better we like to talk about than people helping veterans and first responders. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us. Have a great time.
We'll be right back here in the National Defense. Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and it's time for another Morgan Stanley Money Brief. And Michelle Morrow is a member of the Morgan Stanley Veterans Network and is back with us with a few more tips. Michelle, how are you?
I'm good, Randy. Thanks for having me on again. How are you?
Good. Listen, last week we started a discussion of financial goals by talking about some common financial goals, including college planning, retirement, emergency savings, insurance, planning and budgeting, debt repayment, and buying a home. What's the focus this week?
Well, today and over the next few weeks, we're going to take a deeper dive into each of those common goals and help your listeners prioritize the most important ones first.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem daunting to try to focus on all of those goals at once. Can we start with the 3 that maybe you should tackle first?
Sure. Although one thing I do want to note is that, this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. There are personal considerations that may impact which ones you want to start with.
Sure.
And this is where having a trusted financial professional to consult is really helpful.
Yeah, I bet.
And so the first financial goal that we all should focus on, frankly, is having a financial plan and a budget. This is your long-term objective and your roadmap to get there. Without it, you risk making financial decisions that are based on short-term wants or needs, but that are at a huge sacrifice to a long-term goal.
Right.
So to start with a financial goal and creating a budget, the first thing that you need to do is understand where you are right now, right? And that's different for all of us. And then where do you want to be in the future? So if you're just starting out, this could mean that you might have a little less money saved in the bank or in your retirement account, but you also have the benefit of time in that you have more time to save that money and allow it to grow.
And then on the other end.
Exactly. On the other end, maybe you're closing in on retirement, and that the light at that end of that tunnel is getting nice and bright.
Right.
So hopefully you do have some assets saved, and hopefully you have a financial plan. But if not, now is an even more critical time for you to take stock of your financial picture and, recalibrate your expectations accordingly. So that might mean adjusting when you plan to retire, or it could mean adjusting your lifestyle when you do retire to match the assets that you've managed to save to now.
Yeah. How about a budget?
Well, a budget, I think, is critical, right? Because creating a budget helps you figure out how to allocate your money, all of the money that's coming in every month. Where do you put it? Where do you spend it? How do you save it? And how do you make sure that you're sticking to your long-term financial plan?
Yeah, and I mean, for people that haven't done this, Michelle, what's the best way to start creating your budget?
The best way to start is to just jump in and keep it simple.
Yeah.
This could mean using a very basic spreadsheet database like Excel. First thing you want to do is write down all of the sources of income that you currently receive. For most of us, this could be your salary or the wages that you receive from employment. It could mean it could include a pension if you're, say, retired from the military and you're collecting one. And it could also include income from rental properties. So if, as your listeners moved around, maybe they invested in buying a home,
right,
and now they're renting that out, that's income that you want to make sure that you write down. On the next side, you want to write down all of your expenses, everything that you have to pay on a monthly basis. So that's your utilities, your rent or your mortgage, your fixed debt payments, and your insurance. And then whatever you have left over, this is your discretionary income.
There's this little bitty teeny amount over here. You can do whatever you want, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. If that's a teeny tiny amount and you don't have a lot of discretionary income, then maybe think about which bills you can lower or eliminate. This is the wants versus needs, right? So you could think about, as an example, reducing your cell phone data plan or adjusting the thermostat, down a few notches.
Right.
Or your subscription services. In this day and age, how many subscription services do you have between cable, Netflix, Hulu,
right,
etc.? Do you need all of them?
Yeah.
Because those payments, they add up over time.
Yeah, you look at those at the end of the month and you go, I spent what on what?
Right, and how much did you watch? How much did you use it?
Right. Michelle, thank you so much. We'll be back here next week with the brand new segment of Morgan Stanley Money Brief right here on the National Defense. Hey, welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry. And Jerry, here we are in San Diego with the Farmers Insurance Open Golf Tournament.
With the sunshine and the ocean view.
Yes.
And, man, what a place.
I mean, number one, why were we invited?
Because we do such a good job talking about Farmers Insurance.
Well, you can make some of that up later. Well, Farmers Insurance, yeah, a great partner of ours, and they put this event on every single year here at Torrey Pines Golf Course. And, I mean, the world's best players are here. Yeah, it's amazing. You look around here, everything you see is Farmers Insurance.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, what an event this is.
They put on a spectacular...
First class.
Yeah. And so, so this will be great. So we're going to be here all week and bring you some interviews and kind of some behind-the-scenes, because you know about the golf, you know about the golfers. You don't know about some of the other things that are...
Farmers is involved in.
Yeah, especially...
For example, there's support for first responders.
Yeah, so we're going to... that's going to be, what, tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
We're going to find out about their support for first responders and some other things. So we have found somebody from First Tee San Diego. It's Andrew.
Yes, nice to meet you here.
Nice to meet you, man. Thank you so much for hosting this event. This is a cool event. How long have you been involved?
Well, the First Tee of San Diego, we've been here since '94, but ever since they've been having these youth clinics, pro kids and the First Tee have been involved and invited, so we're just pleased to be back here again this year.
Can you give us a little bit of background for our listeners about First Tee?
Absolutely. So pro kids and the First Tee of San Diego, we've been serving mostly underserved youth as young as ages 7 years old all the way up through the end of high school and beyond that with scholarships since '94.
I'm kind of amazed, and I don't know if you guys were amazed about this. how the pros have taken to this program. I mean, I know that Tom Watson was a big force in it for Jack Nicklaus and some of the older golfers, but then the younger golfers have stepped right in, right?
Yeah, look who's here today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's one of the beautiful things about the game of golf, that it's a lifelong sport, and people of all different ages and backgrounds can come together over it. So having people like Jack Nicklaus, who I know is a trustee of the First Tee, and having Ricky, who's been putting on this clinic for years, and having other really good local golfers like Charlie Hoffman and Xander Schauffele, these guys, they're definitely heroes to our kids here in San Diego, and they support and give back to the game.
Now, do you guys have a website?
We do, yeah. So the website for us is thefirstteesandiego.org. And you can learn everything about our program, whether you have kids, whether you are a kid, or if you want to volunteer or donate and be part of the movement.
That's the other thing we were talking about as far as the kids that are involved here. It shows them too. Unlike from years ago, you don't have to be rich to play golf. You don't have to have a lot of skills to play golf. I mean, you just have to be available and learn what you're being taught, right?
Absolutely right. And one of the really cool parts about our program is that our kids, through positive behavior in school, out of school, on the course, off the course, they can earn points. And through those points, they can actually buy rounds of golf. They can buy the new golf equipment that either we get from the great companies in the area or from individuals who are just clearing out their garage. So you don't have to have the money in your wallet. If you earn it through hard work and good behavior by living the core values of the First Tee and Pro Kids, you can go pretty far.
That's really cool.
Man, what a great program.
How's your game, Andrew?
I like to play golf. I'm going to leave it at that. It doesn't matter how it is. I'm outside. I'm happy.
That's right. That's a perfect answer. Jerry, we found some barbecue. I can't believe we found barbecue in San Diego. We've been on the search now for a week. And finally
found some.
Well, we finally found some real barbecue.
And famous barbecue.
Because they're from Kansas City. Yeah. What's your name?
I'm Jay Collins.
I'm Stan Hayes.
And it's Operation Barbecue Relief. And, I see these guys all the time because they go to all these disaster sites and they set up barbecue and they feed people for free. And this thing, first of all, how long have you been doing this Operation Barbecue Relief?
So Operation Barbecue Relief started in May of 2011 after the Joplin tornado. So
that's right.
As a bunch of competition barbecue guys, we just felt, hey, what can we do for our community and to help them? The idea was, hey, why don't we get our barbecue friends together and just go cook barbecue for the community and instead of competing against each other, come together. And you think about it, who better to set up in a parking lot with really much of nothing than a bunch of barbecue guys that do it any given weekend.
I was working. We went up there to provide relief after that tornado.
Yeah.
And some of those military families were really devastated by that.
Watching the people and the resiliency that came from just going. We didn't know what to expect, right? We went there thinking we'll be there for 4 or 5 days, or 4,000 or 5,000 meals, and go home and feel good that we helped a community. And we served 5,000 meals the first day we were there.
Wow!
And we were there 11 days and did 120,000 meals from that parking lot, set up right next to farmers the whole time. And we realized about day 3 that. We were told, you're not needed here. You're not needed by the big boys, right? We've got it taken care of.
Right.
But during that time, no one was feeding. Because I don't consider a bologna sandwich or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, real food. I know it'll get you by, but if I can give you a hot
world-class barbecue,
from grand champion pitmasters and people that are giving their heart and soul, if I can do that for people, why not? Because we call it the healing power of barbecue. That one meal and what that meal does for that person and how that changes, even for 10 minutes, the fact that they might forget the bad things that are happening to them really shows that power of what barbecue does.
And you guys were nominated for one of the most prestigious awards there is in the country right now.
We were a top 10 finalist for the CNN Heroes Award in 2017. I've got 9 new amazing friends and organizations that were in there with us. And
hey, what is it about Kansas City? Because the Tiny Houses guy was nominated this year as one of the CNN heroes.
So our friends over at Veterans Community Project, we've actually done some things with them. They've become good friends of ours. The more things that we want to do on the military side, we look for the opportunities. And it was actually an introduction where farmers asked us to come and cook for the volunteer day at at Veterans Community Project as they were working on tiny homes and stuff there for them. And I said, this just fits in perfectly with what we want to do outside of disasters and giving back. And
I'll tell you, Farmers just seems to be everywhere in terms of taking care of people. What does it mean to you guys to have Farmers involved?
So, after working for Farmers for over 23 years,
that's right. You were.
So they were there at the beginning. If it wasn't for them, we probably didn't leave that parking lot in Joplin able to do what we're doing today. And then partnering up with them at major disasters along the way, helping, has become, sort of a partnership there, if you will. And we couldn't do it without them. I mean, they've come on as a bigger partner each year. This year, probably the biggest one of our biggest partners for 2019, as well as wanting to be part of what we're doing outside of disaster with Jay's new programs here called the Always Serving Project, and that's the new, that's not the new stuff. It's the stuff that we're going to finally put some rigor around and really start doing outside of those disasters.
How many meals do you figure you've served since you started?
Since 2011, we are just shy of 3 million in disasters.
Wow,
and when you take what we do for military, for the veterans, the first responders, and the fight on hunger in communities around the country, we're well over 3 million meals.
So let's put that in perspective. You're from Kansas City area. What's the population of Kansas City? So, in other words, you would have been able to feed everybody, the entire population
everybody in Kansas
several
City.
times over.
Yes, I think. Let's call it a million if you include all the outlying areas around there, right? I mean, Kansas City proper by itself is maybe 600,000-700,000.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we could feed the everybody in the Kansas City area a couple of times over. What you could feed St. Louis a couple of times, as well. I mean, that's probably about that whole metro area is probably 1.5 million.
Hey, Jay, let's talk about your program and what you guys were talking about here. Your story is very unique as well.
Sure. So I'm a retired Green Beret. Been retired for about 35, 40 days now. As I kind of got to the end of my career and thought about my impact from our nation around the world, I'm proud of what we did. I'm proud of what our brothers and sisters have done. But I look at people like OBR and Farmers and the impact they're having within the borders of our own country. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I don't want a job that's 9 to 5. I want to impact people's lives the way I have day in and day out in the military. And, we brought OBR and Stan and Will and the team down to Fort Bragg to feed some of my soldiers over at Special Warfare Medical Center. And, one thing led to another. We found we had the same servant's heart and wanted to impact communities. And, now I'm employed by Operation Barbecue Relief. I'm the director for the Always Serving Project. And our intent is to take the value, the impact of that one hot meal that matters to that person, that family, that community, and open it up to first responders, military, and the fight on hunger outside of the disasters. We're actually going to kick it off in April with what we're calling the Breaking Bread Tour. As an amputee, a combat wounded amputee, I'm going to run, bike, and hand cycle from Los Angeles to Phoenix, to El Paso, to San Antonio, Houston, Hammond, Louisiana, and ending up in Tampa, Florida, just prior to the 2019 DoD Warrior Games. We're going to feed.
Oh, that's cool. The Warrior Games, huh?
That's right.
We used to attend those all the time.
Those are great.
Well, I'm one of SOCOM's athletes as well, so I'll be out there running the torch, so to speak, across the country. We're going to partner with the Warrior Games. We're going to feed the athletes and families there as well, and try to make the biggest impact across our country we can, reminding people of the power of a meal. One of the things that's been so impactful in my life is breaking bread, hence the name, the Breaking Bread Tour. Every country you go to, every demographic, every person you talk to, whether it's a new friend or an old friend, you break bread together to bring people together. There's something common about that. It's very cathartic, right? And that's what we're nesting this with, is just bringing people together under common bonds and the healing power of that hot barbecue meal.
Man, here's a living example of you don't leave anybody behind.
Yep.
And it's family.
That's right. Yep. It is family. Staying out of the political realm, there's a lot that brings us together, and many times it seems people want to focus on what divides us. Man, we're all people. We're all trying to make the world a better place. Let's get together. Let's break bread together and make things better day in and day out for those around us.
And just to kind of underscore that, when we just did the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm just thinking, What are you talking about? Trouble in our country? I mean,
everybody snapped too. And,
yeah, right. And you get a day like this with everybody helping out, and you think, hey, there's no problem is too big for the United States.
That's exactly it. It's what our nation is founded on: people coming together for a greater good, a greater cause. This is the grassroots of America. This is beautiful. Man,
that's tremendous effort. Tremendous career, and you've sacrificed a lot, and you're just wound up and keep on going.
Well, I don't know any other way to do it. Our motto.
It doesn't seem like
Our motto is "The oppressed will be bear," as Green Berets, to free the oppressed. And I figure we're going to apply that a little bit and try to help people around the country. And it seems like a lot to run a bike across the country, but I'm very blessed. Only one leg gets tired now, so I'm in luck.
Oh, that's funny. Well, now, so you guys, what's the best place for people to find out more about the organization?
So, on social media, we're on every social media site, Operation Barbecue Relief or Op BBQ Relief. And then, our website's easy. It's obr.org. And you can register to volunteer. You can donate from there. We'll have soon more about the Always Serving Project and what that route's going to be across the country, because we want people that support us across the country to come out and run with Jay, be part of, the tour and everything. Jay's an amazing guy here, but it's not going to be any fun just watching him run by himself. We want a community to come together and run with him and be part of it.
The only problem I see, Jerry, is that, especially here in San Diego, once people taste Kansas City barbecue, I mean, you're ruining their lives, actually.
And here's the other thing. You just mentioned people can help out and volunteer. Randy is a smoker. I have a smoker, and we'd be glad to lend you any tips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Well, everybody, if you don't know, everybody in Kansas City is a barbecue expert.
Yeah,
just
right?
Ask them, right?
Keep learning. There you go.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks so
Great
much.
talking to you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on the National Defense. Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and time now for a brand new segment of Eye Insights with VSP Vision Care, and Dr. Robert Meisel is back with us again. Dr. Meisel, in the new year, everybody, you see all the ads for health clubs, for diet plans, but you don't ever hear anything about eating healthy for your eyes. What do you mean by that?
Well, the old message my mom said, everything in moderation, still holds true. Certainly, during the holiday season, we tend to overindulge. But there are certain foods that can boost your eye health, things that are very good for your retina. Beta-carotene, omega-3 fatty acids, zeaxanthin, lutein, certain vitamins like C and E, zinc, are all antioxidants. And they are very important with people that have certain eye problems like macular degeneration. But in general, those are good foods to eat.
Yeah, you talk about the vitamins, and my wife is a big proponent of supplements. And some of those, like the antioxidants, what do those do for your eyes?
Well, actually what they do is to perform some protectants within the blood system. The foods that we eat typically in winter months, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, I know everyone's favorites, but also carrots and potatoes have a lot of vitamins and minerals. And it's always good to eat healthy, certainly, even though we don't always do it. But the wintertime especially is a good time to get those vegetables.
Yeah, and I can also understand that just a healthy eating plan in general, as a basis for your just physical well-being would help your eyes, right?
Exactly. Especially if you have any systemic problems, but in general, that's a good prevention to eat healthy.
So, Dr. Meisel, aside from vitamins, what else should we be paying attention to for our eyes?
Well, things that the green leafy vegetables like kale, collard greens, spinach, again, on top of everybody's list of things to eat. But those things are very good for the potential protectorant for macular degeneration, which is a growing problem with the aging population. And beta-carotene also. We always think about carrots, but we don't need a lot of carrots. We need foods that have the same kind of beta-carotene in them, like certain fruits, cantaloupes, apricots, peaches, even sweet potatoes.
Well, we're based in Kansas City, so we got to talk about meat. Are there any particular meats that are good for eye health?
Well, again, yes, I know what you're saying. Kansas City is the home to some of the best barbecue in the country.
Absolutely.
Brought to you by your Greater Kansas City
Chamber of Commerce. That's right.
Right. But again, moderation is the key. And I know some people, it's meat and potatoes at every meal, but fish is a very good source of omega-3s, like tuna, sardines, but especially salmon, fatty fish. And those are good fats.
Yeah, and salmon is a staple in our house, and that's one of those things that I think is good for every part of you. And now I know it's good for the eyes. So, hey, Dr. Meisel, VSP Vision Care has a lot of exciting things for our particular audience. Can you talk about what you guys are doing?
We are a vision carrier participating in the Federal Dental and Vision Insurance Program, known as FedVIP. For those military families and retirees that enrolled in November, they now have access starting January 1st of this year to comprehensive vision coverage through FedVIP. If you missed the open season and are a newly eligible TRICARE member or are retiring at any point this year, you can review VSP plan options at choosevsp.com. And when you're ready to learn how to enroll, go to benefeds.com to learn about enrollment options.
Dr. Meisel, thank you once again, and we'll be back here next week with a brand new segment of Eye Insights with VSP Vision Care right here on the National Defense.